Hello everybody, welcome back. As you know, I'm pretty big on learning everything on the guitar in all keys. I find it's an exceptionally useful thing to do. It will really improve your understanding of the instrument and also make you a lot more expressive. And the scales is a big one, right? We should learn scales in all keys, of course, and we sometimes use the circle of fifth for that, so each position is played on each step of the circle until we work our way through all of it, and that's our 12 keys. That can be a bit mechanical though, and a little bit boring, dare I say. So today I want to show you a more fun way that is also extremely applicable to real life playing. First of all, we'll have to pick a scale that we want to master. So for the purpose of this video, let's keep things simple. Let's go with the minor pentatonic scale, which I think a lot of you already know. And then we'll have to pick a key. Any key will do, something just that we can start on. So it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna go with D minor, because it kind of sits here in the middle of the fretboard. No particular reason, you can start anywhere you want. And then we'll pick an interval, basically a distance. And in this case, again, just for the purpose of today, I'll go with the major third. The major third is 2 whole steps, and you can pick in any direction. I'm gonna go downwards, so from D, I'm going to go down 2 whole steps to B flat, and then 2 more to F sharp. Those are my 3 notes, because if I go 1 more major third down from F sharp, I'll go back to D. So you can see this way of doing it limits the amount of keys you do. So either you want to work on just a few at a time, or you could go, well, let me start on D, that takes care of B flat and F sharp, and then maybe I can do it again starting from a different note, and I will get 3 more keys. You could also choose to move downwards or upwards by a different amount of half steps and whole steps. So instead of doing 2 whole steps, you could do 1.5 steps, which is a minor third, and then you'll have to go through 4 keys before returning to the 1, so it would be a slightly longer workout. If I were to take it to the extreme and move up a 5th or a 4th indeed, I would actually go through all 12 keys by the time I get back to the D. So you can explore with this a bit further. And finally, we'll pick a starting position for our workout, and in this case, because it's minor pentatonic, I'll choose the simplest one for most of you, which is this figure of the D minor pentatonic scale, which I'm sure all of you know. Now, with that being chosen, I will record a little loop of each of my chords. So in this case, again, I'm playing D minor. I'm just playing a 7th chord because it's a bit richer, and then B flat minor, and then F sharp. I will put it into a loop, and I will play each position for D minor, then I go to B flat, and then to F sharp. To start, I'll pick the same position. There will be, of course, a much more complicated but also satisfying step 2. So here I am with my loop going. I'm going to start from the D minor pentatonic scale. Move it down to B flat. The same position, and then I copy paste on the F sharp, if you know more positions, you can practice the other ones. This is a different D minor pentatonic, and B flat. And then F sharp. So again, I'm changing where I'm placing them. Now, for some of you, this might seem actually quite simple, but don't forget that this works with any scale you're learning. So it might be simple in the minor pentatonic scale, but even then you might maybe not know one of the positions as well as all the others, so this will be a great workout. But also you might maybe not know the lead and dominant scale in all keys, and you don't want to start with 5 or 7 positions of it. So you say, you know what, let me just start with 1 and move it in a meaningful manner, musically speaking, throughout different keys, and then you can expand. But assuming you do know all your positions of the minor pentatonic scale, let's now try something a bit more difficult. I'm still going to start with the same D minor pentatonic scale. In this case, it was the good old one. But now when we move down to B flat, instead of just copying and pasting the same fingering a few frets lower, I'm actually going to find another position for B flat minor pentatonic that sits right where the D minor sits. In this case, between more or less the 10th and 13th fret, my closest B flat would be on the 13th fret of the 5th string and my 11th fret of the 2nd. So if I worked diligently on all my minor pentatonic positions, I'll be able to pick one that fits around these two roots, which will be this one. So you see now when I go from D minor to the new one, it's not that far out. I might actually be able to mix them in a kind of a musical way as I shift from one to the other. Now that I'm sitting here, I go to F sharp and I have to find the F sharp minor pentatonic position that's as close as possible to my previous B flat one, and it will be this one, with these roots here. And I'll play like this. That's the scale. So now I'm going to put it all together for you. And just starting from this minor pentatonic, I work through my 3 keys. So here we go, we're gonna start from D minor and play anything. When the B flat comes, and now with the F sharp, I'm trying to make the melodies smooth into one another. I'm back in D, right? B flat. And now find a way to go into F sharp. In a smooth way and somewhat musically. Now some of these key changes are quite close to each other, so if I go for example by a 5th or a 4th, some of these scales are very similar. But with major thirds or seconds or 7ths, then they get farther apart. So don't worry if it's really hard for you to make it sing from one key to the next. It's not going to happen to you very often that you go key to key in major thirds, for example. Is not something that's common, but you still should try and be as smooth as possible, as elegant as possible, as musically interesting as possible. Of course, I started on this position of the D minor pentatonic scale. I could have started on any other one. So if I were starting, for example, in this one that we saw earlier, now I have to find a B flat minor pentatonic scale when the time comes that's in this area, which, you know, the closest one would probably be this one. And then when I go down to F sharp, I have to find the closest possible F sharp in this area. And sometimes it will be exactly there depending on the interval you move, and sometimes you kind of have a couple of choices. It doesn't really matter. So if you're here and you go like, oh, which one should I use? Well, if this is an F sharp, go ahead and choose that one. If you were to go down one, it's no problem at all. You can still work it out. But usually there is a clear position that is the correct one. And this is all there is to it, really. I hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe, and all the beautiful stuff. It really helps me out a lot. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, is linked below. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Bye-bye.